your maiden thing. And when you go for your next interview, tell the interviewer that the person doing the show will kind of mess you up and thing. So first, I want to say welcome. We're recording the show at this moment. Pleasant good morning, and I apologize for the lateness. How are you doing, first of all? Good?
I'm good, yes. I'm well. I'm happy to be here with everybody. I'm blessed. I'm really feeling honored.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's good.
Well, let me say this. Earlier someone came into the chat room and said, boy, they can't wait to hear what you have to present. And I think Toronto Queen had the time a little off. She thought it was 10 o'clock. But now that you're here, we want to say, first of all, just give a quick intro on yourself in terms of when you got started. You were in radio years ago when you were in college. Talk a little about that, and then you can roll into your presentation. Go ahead.
Wow, Rula. I haven't been on the radio in probably, I don't want to say too long, but in over 30 years.
Wow, so quite a while.
I was a radio DJ in college and then station manager, and that's how I met you. Mm-hmm. And then since then, I graduated college, but I haven't really done anything with the radio. I've more or less became a mom, a wife, and those things.
Right.
A liver.
I understand.
So that's what I've been doing, and I guess through my living and through my parenting and the job that I do, I also do child care for the past 22 years. I do licensed child care for early children, early ages. And so through that, I've, gained an awareness of what life is about and what to teach those kids, because those little ones are the ones that are going to be taking care of me and you and all of us when we get older.
Very true. No, you also have a college degree in international. What was it? You have a bachelor's degree?
Oh, yes, I do. I have. I wanted to be a lawyer, and I wanted to have world knowledge. So my degree is in international studies. I studied all the third world countries and all countries that were not America, just because I felt we learned so much about America here. Not really, but we learned what they want us to know, and I wanted to know what was really going on in the world and how America really tied in and where we fit in. And so that's what I studied. That was my study.
And know that we've gotten your credentials out of the way. You've seen what's happening out there in the world, and you're concerned. And so your thought was, let me put together a plethora, an avalanche of information that you can share and have people thinking about this higher frequency. So take it away and roll into what you want to talk about and how you've broken down. I know today you're going to focus on spirituality, so just take it away and kind of build your presentation over the next couple of weeks. Go ahead.
Okay. For the next couple of weeks, I wanted to share and exchange ideas and thoughts, as I said, to get our minds thinking in the direction of a higher frequency. And what I mean by that, more on a spiritual level. We're caught up in a lot of the material day-to-day living, and we're losing sight of our spirituality. And I think that's why a lot of people are running amok, And so with high frequency, we're going to discuss things that will help us do that, not just from a spiritual aspect, but from a body and from our minds, because the three of those things work together. You can't have one of those without the other. Mm-hmm. And they all need to be balanced. And so when I say we're all running amok in the world, it's because we're out of balance, we're out of sync, we're not in connection, we're not on the right frequency, if I may.
No. Go
ahead.
No, let me ask you quickly. And I know you're a very positive mind person. Just talking to you, having you calling a few weeks ago when I made a particular statement. So with the advent of situations the way they are now for many people, in terms of hopelessness and people not wanting to do the right thing, you're saying then, look, I think I have something to share that may have people thinking about all this negativity and a way of turning their thought process around. Is that what it's all about?
Yes, exactly. And not just share, I want to hear as well, because, I'm still learning it too. So it's not that I'm an authority on it, and that's part of my disclaimer. I am not an authority, but I am a liver, and I'm someone who lives and learns every day, and I learn by sharing, and I learn by exchanging, and so that's what I want to do here. This is a bigger forum, and it's just such a warm forum. When I go in the chat room, everything is warm. Your music, everything, it touches different chords and resonates. And that's why I think of, being on a higher frequency. So I wanted to I wanted to start with spirituality because I think that's more or less the basis of it. If we were to think of it as a triangle, I would put spirituality as the foundation, because without that connection, without that awareness, we really have nothing. And a lot of people connect spirituality with religion, and that's a dangerous thing in a way, because religion is an institution, and when you think about it, it has very little to do with spirituality. You go to church, you'll be in church probably 8 hours a day. You have to go on a particular day. You have to go to a particular place. You got to wear a certain outfit. At this time they talk about this, at that time you give this money. And probably out the 8 hours that you're there on that particular day, you might discuss spirituality for 20 minutes. And it's not going to be your spiritual experience. It's going to be the pastor's experience or his account of someone else's experience. But go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, as you give your presentation, if you're monitoring the chat room, maybe you're not. There's sometimes comments that are put in there. So if you want to go ahead and pick up on any of those comments, question, you can go ahead and kind of interweave any of the comments or questions from the chat room. If you're not seeing it, I may just pick one or two and present it to you. I just want to point that out to you. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. So, what I was saying about the, religion. So where you have those institutionalized religions, it's more restricted, it's more staged, it's more curved. And even the word religion comes from...
Comes from what? You chipped out there for a second. Comes from where? Hello? Yeah, we're losing you. Your signal is going. Yeah, go ahead.
Groups, when you think of religious groups, Christianity, the Lutherans, the Protestants, the Catholics, all those things are designed to restrict and control the people. It has nothing to do with spirituality. When I think of spirituality, I think of freeness, of creativity. I think of maybe indigenous people. I think of Native Americans doing their rain dance. They're connecting with the universe. Their spirit is free. It's not a controlled thing. The same with when you meditate and when you do yoga. Those are things that are designed to connect you with the spirit, with the universe.
No, so can someone, like myself, I don't know if I'm spiritual. I hear people all the time talk about their spiritual and so forth. So for an individual that's listening to you now, and they would like to say, I hear what she's saying, but I wonder if that definition fits me. What would be 3 components that one would ask themselves to say whether or not they're really spiritual? Because it's very important to a lot of people. Could you say what those are?
Well, when I think of spiritualism, I think of anything that separates me from the materialist of life, the ego, clothing, money, things like that. Anything that has nothing to do with that, I consider to be spiritual. Love, kindness, light. Anything that's light, anything that's easy, that isn't of a lower thought pattern. And I want to be careful saying that, because I don't want to sound judgmental or, like I'm saying, some people are of a lower quality. It's not about that. It's about that, you know, some thoughts are of a lower frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and that's the reality.
Okay, so one would have to look within themselves and see in terms of some of the activities, some of the things that they've been doing or sharing or putting a lot of focus on to make that determination.
The connection and the disconnection. When you think of spirituality, think of a Buddhist sitting under a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Think of someone doing yoga. I'm going to give you three different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Think of someone doing yoga, and then think of someone chanting. Those are three different venues of reaching spirituality. And the only reason why it's reaching spirituality is because it takes you at that moment from the present world to maybe a nothingness. For some, it's just a nothingness. It's a calm. It's a peaceful. It's that moment when you connect.
Got you. Mm-hmm. So.
And anyone, I'm sorry to cut you off, but anyone can be spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beauty of it. See, whereas a religion, you got to convert to this, because, you know, if you're not a Catholic, then you can't reach spirituality. And it's not about that.
Right.
When you're spiritual, you can have a spiritual experience in the bathtub.
Right. As a matter of fact, Toronto Queen in the chat room wrote, spirituality is very broad, and she says, I think something bigger than ourselves, and it is typically involves a search for meaning in life.
And the connection, definitely.
Okay. Now, taking it forward, and I know you've probably set up your presentation for finite time period. Moving it forward, so you're going to provide a way of connecting the mind, body, and the soul. You talk about the spirituality in terms of going forward. What would be the other components that would tie into spirituality going forward? For people who are having issues, a lot of people just don't show love, don't have any love, don't care. Is that part of what would make someone change their way of operating from day to day?
Oh, definitely. Because when you find that peace within yourself, it starts to reflect that. I mean, imagine if you could, you're having a great day and you go amongst a bunch of people and everybody's in a really negative mood.
Right.
What's the first thing that's going to happen? You're going to get negative with them.
That is true. Very true.
Right? All it takes is one person. Oh, it's so cloudy today. Oh, I can't stand the rain. Oh, it's so cold. Oh, my aches, my pains. And then you chime in too.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when you're on a different level of frequency, when you're trying to connect with your spirituality and you can separate yourself from all of that, you can take the attitude that you wake up with, that gratitude. I'm awake. I'm alive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm breathing. I'm at work. You know, and it starts to carry through. And then once it becomes strong enough, you can turn the tide so that when everybody is saying negative things, you don't even hear it because you're still so positive. You're still in your level of frequency that's all you hear and that's what you say. And slowly people start to hear you because you're always saying it.
Right.
You're always feeling it. You're always living it.
Yeah, Sir Keith Anthony, who we have on Tuesdays, basically amplify or basically say some of the same thing. You know, you have to. One of the things he says, if you at any point think of doing something real rash and bad, just think of something good or one or two things that have happened to you in the past as being good, and try and replace them with the thought process of you trying out and do something bad. And I think that's part of what I hear you saying.
Yes. And also the thing, too, is that it's not just one component. And that's why I say the spiritual body and mind. Mm-hmm. And so whereas, yes, you have to think good thoughts, but you got to eat good food because you got to feel good.
Mm-hmm. So
you know what I'm saying? So it all ties in together. You're not going to feel good. You're not going to think well and have positive thoughts if you don't feel well. Right. And that's the reality, right?
That is true.
So it all ties in with that too. And then with your mind. So you have to train your mind to know positive thoughts. So there's where the thoughts. I see someone said, what is the difference between spirituality and what was it, the mind?
Yeah.
Was it a question from Ruello?
Okay. Okay. You're trying to get back to or there's a question.
Yeah. She said,
yeah. Okay, folks, Empress T's trying to pick up some of the questions.
Between the mind and the spirit. The mind, I think, controls your body, whereas the spirit will be like the guiding force of the mind.
Mm-hmm. All right, folks, if you'd like to ask a question verbally, if you're on the outside, you can call the number 770-744-2154, and she'll be able to hear your questions. If you want to provide a comment also, and that's Empress T, our maiden feature here today. It's typically supposed to run for about 15 minutes to 30 minutes, and if she'd like to pick up a question here, you can call in 770-744-2154. Take it away, Empress. What would you like to rally off of those statements that you've made in terms of someone that's listening to you now, and they really and truly are searching for that spiritualness or that positivity? What would be the first thing that they should do?
The first thing that they should do is to relax and feel confident that all is going to be well. Because once you have that comfort, then you can start to hear things and start to feel things. When you're nervous and stressed and worried, you miss a lot. The other day, Ruel, I think it was Ruel, the same one, said, wouldn't it be cool if we could see the energy? We can. We can see those frequencies. If you close your eyes and you're just still for a moment, unplug things in your house. You know, there's a lot of energy that flows through these cords. Just unplug everything in one room. Close the curtains and just sit quietly. Just sit for a moment. Close your eyes. You can see little bursts of light behind your lids. That's energy. Those are frequencies. Those are patterns.
So one of the key things then is to identify, recognize that the energies are around you, and is to actually work with it. Dr. Auntie Queen says yoga, meditation.
Yes, those are all different forms that people use to reach that spirituality. That's yoga is a form through the body. That's how you would reach it through the body. Very good, a very good method. Very good method.
Now, for you, let me ask you this question, probably a little personal, but if you want to answer it, fine. Say you're home and you say you take care of kids at home and so forth, and you're having a very rough day, and your mind tend to want to go cross at one point. What do you do? Like you said, you go off in a corner and do some deep breathing. Is that basically?
Yes, I go in my room. I unplug everything because sometimes even the TV is not on. It has a buzz. It has a hum. Sometimes I just need a quiet moment, just a quiet moment where I can just, reconnect with my foundation and steady my mind, steady my thoughts, because that's when you get that frantic energy, when you're not able to settle things for just a moment and you're always on go, you're frantic, you lose that connection. And as you get further and further away from your spirituality.
Liebrock in the chat room on Ruler Brown Network said every day feels rough for him lately. It's wearing him down and he needs to change it. So it sounds as though someone in the chat room is listening.
The first thing he can do is change that statement that he just said. I need him, if he typed that, I need him to retype that in a positive way.
Form, yeah.
Because your light, your energy emanates from you.
Right.
So if you say that's what it is, then hey, that's what it is. Those who follow the Bible, they know there's a verse that says there, when you from your lips to God's ears. So what you ask for, he's going to give you. So if you say, hey, every day is horrible, guess what? Every day is going to be horrible. That's what you're calling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's how I see it. So the first thing that I need him to do is to retype that statement and say, every day is wonderful, and I am grateful to be alive.
You know, it's interesting just listening to you. Like I said, Sir Keith Anthony, the other day, he came on, he had the flu, and I spoke with him after the show, and I think I wrote back to him that sorry to hear that, get well, or something like that, sorry to know that you're sick or something like that. And he replied to me, say, no, I'm not sick, I'm healing. Can you imagine that? So it turns it around in that positive light, that positive way to say, because sick probably connotes negativity. And, yeah. So I think that
our words do bind us. And, unfortunately, I don't want to get into this part yet, but unfortunately, this country, our words are very negative and very, gloomy and very doomish. And, that's all that is part of keeping it control, keeping our spirituality down. They know that if we're all spiritually free, we can think for ourselves. We can make our own decisions. We can have a good quality life, not this life that we're subjecting to because we believe everything that they say. And so, we have to change it.
Well, let me say this. You're generating an awful lot of comments in the Ruler Brown Network chat room.
I hope they're all positive.
No. Well, I wish you could have seen some of them to follow up on the comments because they're going so fast. But let me say I pick up one of them. Librock says, I will choose to make every day amazing and choose to turn the bad days into good ones. You see that? And that's a start.
Every time he feels that, every time he says it, because it's hard to change your thought process. Yeah. A lot of us have been raised on negative thinking, and we don't even realize it because it's part of who we are. But it's every day that he catches himself saying, "Oh, I hate today." If he could just back it up with two statements of, no, I don't. Today is amazing. Today is going to be great. I'm alive. I'm happy. Anything positive. It could be something stupid. Just as long as it's positive to change the weight of what he said into the universe. His frequency has to change that frequency.
Good. I hear you, and I'm not going to dispute what I said. But what about the component? And I think the other day when you first called in to me and I was talking about how awful this world is and America is and these politicians are messing things up, and you call and say, Ola, no, wrong attitude, wrong approach. How about those parts, those components of a system that you have absolutely no control over? How you are going to really change that? Because there's certain things happening out there that you see are happening, you would love to really get to create some positivity, but there are parts of it that you have absolutely no control over. How do you deal?
How do we control the weather? How do we deal with the weather? When it rains, we get umbrellas.
Well, yes, you get umbrella, but that is easy because we have an umbrella.
When it's cold, we reach for something warm.
That is absolutely
true. You adapt, you mold. You can't take on there's a lot that goes on in the world that we have no control over.
Yes, that is true. But those are the natural things happening that you have the tools to really fend it off if you have to. I'm talking about sometimes how some of these politicians control certain things and you have no way of really impacting some of that. Even after
I think that we really do. That we really do. I mean, we can talk about it more in depth later. But I think they really do. And there's a part of me, and it might be mean to say, but there's a part of me that kind of wants them to cut some of the programs so that we can start helping ourselves. Mm-hmm. We squander so much of our physical money on nonsense.
Yeah.
We squander it.
Yeah.
Okay? So when you talk to me about that, my thoughts about it are completely different. I'm not going to say what you want to hear. I understand the political system. That political system's been in place for how long? Mm-hmm. And we still have been managing and living and eating and surviving and taking care of our families and doing what we have to do. Right. And we're still going to do it.
Right. All right, I tell you what, we have, Jesus, so many people, a ton of people in the chat rooms. And and comments are coming in like crazy. I can't keep up. So let's tie it all together now, because like I said, the timeline is up to you. You're not restricted to the 15 minutes. If you'd like to take a couple more minutes to kind of summarize what you've talked about today and say for next week how you'll tie in what we've talked about today to what you look to do next week, because I know you have it's a system you're working with, you want to present. So
yes, I want everyone to understand how the three work together, and how if we can individually get ourselves in balance and get on the right frequency, then we can collectively make some changes, the changes that you're talking about. No, it's not going to be this week. I mean, maybe things happen. It might not be next month, but, maybe things happen. My dream is to have one moment where everybody in the world is having the same exact thought at the same exact time. I think that would be the most powerful movement to have happen. And that's my dream. And I know the power of energy. So like with Libra, if I could leave off with one thing, I would say to him to change your energy. Start taking moments by yourself. If it's 5 minutes, if that's all you can take 5 minutes and make it completely quiet. And just try to think about nothing, feel nothing, just erase everything and start from that calmness. And each day, catch yourself, listen to your words, listen to what you're saying, listen to how you're thinking, and change everything that you say negative to something positive. Next week, I want to talk about ways that we can, with our body, reach spirituality, whether it's through yoga, whether it's through running. Some people do different things. Some people lift weights, and also what we ingest and how that also affects our spirituality. So what and the pineal gland and things like that. So that's what I want to talk about a little bit next week.
All right, folks. Well, you heard it here first. Our maiden presentation called High Frequency, and certainly we really appreciate all the input, and you generated an awful lot of typing and commenting in the various chat rooms, and I want to say thank you so much. Take 30 seconds to provide input for your webpage, anything you want to talk, just to let the people know more about how they can reach you. Or if it's nothing new, well, we leave it there, but just take your final thoughts at 30 seconds to wrap it.
They can reach me through you. That's it. I don't know. I don't know what else. But thank you for this moment. Thank you for the time. I look forward to next week.
Yes,
that
indeed.
Was it.
All right. Well, certainly we want to say thank you so much.
Oh, I do have one thing. Keep your thoughts on a higher frequency.
Who was that?
Keep your thoughts on a higher frequency.
All right. You'd like to say any shout out to anyone? Because I know a lot of your friends and family members are tuning in. You'd like to say shout out to anyone?
Anyone that's listening, I love you all. Thank you for sharing these moments with me. I appreciate it. I don't know who you are, but I can feel your energy, and thank you.
All right, indeed. Yes, indeed. The one and only Empress T. Sense of Purpose. Again, still tune in next week at 10:30. And sorry, folks, I screwed up on the telephone number, and that allowed her to call in a little late. But yes, it took extra time and data stare. Sense of Purpose, taking you to a higher frequency. Empress T. Big sound of third world. It's 11:03. Gonna give you a little update on the news and the weather. Remember Clinton Lindsay at 12 o'clock, the big countdown for the top 30. It's at 2 o'clock, right here in these same stations. Again, I want to say big love to all the listeners on the various networks. Firstly, over there, the Mighty Radio, One Harmony Radio, Vibes Urban Station over there in the UK. Over here on the stateside, I want to say big love to Scotcher P Radio, 25th Century Radio, Foundation Radio, Network Cabin Radio Show, CRS Radio, Da Flavor Radio, Ruler Brown Network, Reggae Nostalgia, Mixler Radio, TuneIn Radio. And those listening on the telephone, because we have a lot of people over there in the New York City listening. Telephone number 213-401-0061. Yes, next week at 10:30, Empress T with another edition. Another deposit of higher frequency. Yes, indeed. And Empress T has a Facebook page also. Sense of Purpose. 11:04 on a Friday. Yeah, Rudy Brown rocking you the big music and the big information. Get you out of higher frequency.
Envy and jealousy. Ooh, on the streets they saying this and that.
And folks, I've recorded this segment of the show, so you'll be able to check it out on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Spitter and a Rock Book and Yearbook. Anything right here.